something that's kind of different on this is with these, there is the electrical side. So like with this, after each home, it gets to be pulled off. And then down here, you can either do it with your foot or your finger, but because it's high, I'm doing it with my finger. You lift up. And something that's kind of interesting too on these is up here, you always press the silver tab to release it. And when you slide it in, you can kind of hear how it clicked. I've figured out that it's better to do it this way before you connect the electricals versus afterwards, because if you do it afterwards, it only wants to slide in like halfway, and then that'll make this more unstable. There's 3 different types that you can see. So this one's kind of like wrapped this way. This one was an over-under and then slid through the handle. And then this one is wrapped like that. It's either way that you want to do. The thing that we care about is just that it's nice and neat. Because, you know, if it's wrapped too loosely, when it transports, it just kind of falls apart. It has 2 separate cords, which is what makes it somewhat awkward. Because this one goes to the head, this one goes to the wall. The power button is right here. If you do it like this, you might kick it on accident. It's fine if you do, it's fine if you don't. But if you don't hold that against something, it's going to just slide away. So with this, as with anything new, it's awkward. So that just slides in a little bit. I'm going to put this head on. And I'm going to show you guys kind of how my preference is on doing it. It's kind of weird because, did you guys hear that sound in there? It's almost like it's a nice sound and then it's that scraping sound. Like, yeah, I don't love that sound, but if you hear it, you're like, okay, it does it. So the way that I found the easiest for me on this was actually to have this facing that way, and then I kind of get in front of it before putting it on. So what this will do for me is it keeps everything on the right hand side. So at least that way when I'm vacuuming, with everything being on the right hand side, you know, I'm not worried about the left. And then turning it on, I typically use my left hand. With these power heads, because we're always plugging and unplugging these cords, it's going to be, there's a better chance that you're going to have issues with them not getting put in all the way. If it's not in all the way, it doesn't turn on the head. So what I do in that environment is I just check all the connections. If you do want to run it to where it's like this on the floor instead of like how I just did it, you can. You guys will figure out what your own personal preference is. And I think a lot of cleaning is what is halfway your own personal preference, not, you know, here's the official corporate way. Especially because when you're out there cleaning, we don't know if you're doing it or, you know, it doesn't matter. These poles will go in the pole bag, like normal. That this is actually the one that you're supposed to use for like wood floors, so it's a little bit softer. Always have like 4 in the car, and actually just probably keep them in the bag. That way, if you notice that it gets too full, it's easy. The way you get a new bag in, push down on the button. Last time I didn't pull the bag out, but either way, it doesn't matter. That's where the bag is. So for putting the bag in, what I would suggest is doing it this way. I think I'm overreaching myself. There we go. We heard it snap.